The Story of Jabeena, from the Palestinian Heritage, written by Ibtisam Abu Mayala. Once upon a time, there was a man and his wife who lived in happiness and contentment. God had blessed them with everything except one thing, the blessing of having children. The wife was unfortunate. She could not conceive or bear a child. One day, a cheese seller passed through the village calling out, "Cheese, white cheese, fresh white cheese." The woman heard him and decided to buy some cheese. She called him over and said, "Cheese seller, I would like a pound of cheese." The man weighed her a pound of cheese and she took it. She raised her head to the sky and prayed, "O Lord, grant me a daughter with a face as white as this cheese." God answered her prayer, and she gave birth to a very beautiful girl, as white as the cheese. They named her Jabeena. Jabeena grew up to become the most beautiful girl in the village, and she was the subject of envy among the other girls. One day, the girls planned to go to a distant tree to gather the fruit of the doom tree, and asked Jabeena to join them. At first, her parents and grandfather refused to let her go, but after the girls insisted, her grandfather agreed on the condition that they would take good care of her. Jabeena went with the girls, and they began collecting the fruit. Jabeena climbed to the top of the tree to pick the doom while the other girls filled their baskets below. But when it was time to return, the girls forgot Jabeena up in the tree and went back to the village without her. Jabeena sat on the tree, scared of the wild beasts and the night. While she sat there, a terrifying ghoul appeared and asked, "What are you doing here?" She told him her story and he said, "I will blow on you, and if you fall on my right shoulder, you will become my servant, but if you fall on my left shoulder, I will eat you." He blew on her, and Jabeena fell onto his right shoulder. The ghoul picked her up and took her to his cave to become his servant. Jabeena lived in the ghoul's cave, working all day. Every evening, she would sing under a tree about her suffering and her family. "O flying birds, deliver my greetings to my uncle and father, the shepherdess under the vine." The birds would carry her song and fly with it until it reached the ears of her cousin. Her cousin realized that Jabeena was still alive, so he decided to follow the birds until he reached the ghoul's cave. He entered the cave and found Jabeena. She spoke to him and said, "When the ghoul comes and sleeps on my lap after lunch, you must strike him in his heart. But be careful, his heart is not on the left side but on the right. And if you strike the wrong side, he will survive." Her cousin followed the plan and struck the ghoul in the heart, killing him. He then took as many sheep and cattle as he could carry and returned with Jabeena to the village. As soon as they returned to the village, life returned to the land. The trees turned green, the rivers flowed again, and the villagers knew that Jabeena had come back. The entire village celebrated her return. Jabeena married her cousin, and they lived a happy life. They had sons and daughters, and the village thrived in peace and prosperity.